think we're going to see it right away. We got 2 weapons in the opening hand.
Yeah. Buckle up.
Yeah.
That's admirable.
Yes. This is exactly what I wanted. I wanted a shield block in both opening hands is what I really wanted.
Yeah. It's like buckling up on a train that goes 3 miles per hour. That's a Control Warrior mirror.
Like that Austin Powers scene where the guy's driving the Zamboni. And he's like all the way down the field. He's like, stop! Stop! Yeah. He just has all the time in the world to move out of the way. These guys are stuck in a tavern playing cards. They are not getting out of the way of anything right now.
No, they are not.
The innkeeper has locked the door. Only 1 man is leaving tonight. It's the guy who loses. He's kicked out of the tavern.
Yeah. And then the other guy shortly after gets kicked out of the tavern also. But he gets a slight moment of glory inside the tavern.
All right, that was pretty violent. You actually got to leave.
Yeah.
You can't just beat people up. I mean, it was kind of cool to watch, but I mean, you both agreed to it. It was a fair fight.
All right, this is the early game. This is Control Warrior vs. Shore Warrior in a nutshell. One draw into the Acolyte. We talked about it earlier. Sometimes the draw can come back to bite you, so probably not too worried about that. Yeah, another matchup.
There's that early Justicar, though. You know, that's a card, honestly, you would just keep in your opening hand in this matchup. They're going to have it on turn 6. All right, this is a pretty big advantage over to Connecticut right now.
Yeah. Connecticut really in a good spot with armor.
Wait, did you say Connecticut?
Connecticut.
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 Wait, why are you saying it like that?
Yes, that's how you say it. Connecticut.
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 Wait, say con.
Con.
Say necked.
Necked.
Icut.
Icut.
Connecticut.
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 That's it. Bingo.
Wow. Sludge Belcher on turn 4. They're going to try to fight this tempo battle. They have a hand that can do it. They do have Grommash and Deathspite in their opening hand. Can't believe you say Connecticut.
We didn't miss anything.
Yeah, you're just cutting, you're just cutting a letter out of the word.
Now you say the C, but you say the word so fast that C just sort of gets lost.
Very unlike this matchup.
If Connecticut was
so
an animated word, the C would kind of just, you know, like wiggle its way down. Connecticut. You see that? Did you picture that? It just wiggles. It's like wiggling on down.
It's just like a moving C.
It's a moving
C. You don't even notice the small waves, just the big ones.
Yep, exactly. Takes finesse. Yep.
This is a dry hand for UConn.
Train is going
Here's the thing.
ever slower.
When your opponent decides they want to fight the tempo battle and start pushing for damage,
yep,
you do have to think about, do I need to use this removal spell to make sure he doesn't just run away with the game?
Yeah, and that's exactly the situation that...
That's the power of fighting the tempo here, is that once you have fought the tempo battle, if your opponent doesn't have minions to answer you and they have to use removal spells, suddenly you're the one with that big advantage late game because you have all your big removal spells.
Yeah.
And they just have all their small little mid-sized stuff that you can expend your weapons on. You can use up the rest of the resources you have that aren't dedicated to killing gigantic minions. And then you still have your removal for the gigantic minions.
Yeah. Now, we talked about the common choices of tech cards in these New Age Control Warrior decks, but let's talk about some difference makers. One of them being Gorehowl. Gorehowl is a card that's coming back, especially with additional armor-up effects like Justicar, like Bash. Gorehowl can be that wild card factor that you can play in the mid-game to take out all those mid-range creatures without having to spend the additional removal.
Yeah, there's actually... So one of the reasons I've seen Gorehowl come back the most is actually in some of the Warrior decks that are actually dedicated to putting their opponents in fatigue.
Grinding.
So they'll play a ton of removal spells. They'll even play stuff like Bouncing Blades. And they'll use Gorehowls and sometimes even have Crush in there.
Yeah.
It's quite literally dedicated to just killing every single minion your opponent plays. And using Gorehowl, once you've one-for-one them the entire way through, using the Gorehowl to kill maybe 2 or 3 minions. And that's the weirdest spot in the world for decks that are not dedicated to having these gigantic amounts of burst and very resilient minions. In a matchup like this one, the fatigue-style decks actually have a big advantage. The problem with the fatigue-style decks is that they don't do well versus decks that just have a ton of little sticky minions that fight well for the early game board and then are able to make a mid-game push.
Yeah, Bouncing Blade against a Secret Paladin. He just slams into a Silverhand recruit and then it's done.
Well, Dr. Boom is also something that Bouncing Blades does not do well against. And it's something that this board doesn't do well against, but they happen to have big Game Hunter in their hand. Now, the difference here is do they feel like they even need to use Big Game Hunter? And that sounds weird to say, but there are a bunch of huge minions in this deck. Maybe the armor makes a big difference. And so I think they're starting to see where these boombots landed before they really made a decision. And I think that because their armor got shredded, they're going to forego the shield slam and maybe even still use that for tempo plays later on. I mean, there's a lot of little tiny things that make a big difference here. But, you know, shield slam isn't always going to be active. You're not always going to have a ton of armor. But Big Game Hunter's always going to kill a 7-power minion.
And all is right in the world when that happens. All right, this seems like a Justicar True Heart play.
Yeah, I totally agree. The 6-3 body is not the important part of this card. It is the additional armor. And if you get it right now, I mean, the cumulative armor you get from now until turn 10 makes up for the fact that you, on turn 10, would armor up and then armor up again because it replaces the hero power.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you. I think right now is the time for this Justicar True Heart.
Yeah, there's an argument to maybe like throwing out the bash to maybe protect it a little bit later on. Armorsmith just gets traded into it the BGH, so you'd have to couple that with the bash if you did play it, and that's expending resources. That BGH basically would have just 2 for 1.
Yeah, but instead they're just going to make their way to the Grand Tournament and start tanking up.
Yeah.
Armor up has suddenly become tank up.
Yeah, that was when I saw Justicar True Heart release that effect, I was most excited about Warrior because I was like, that is game changing. That is deck altering power.
In all the other decks, it can do stuff and it actually has some interesting interactions. I think probably the second most powerful one is Paladin, making 2 on 1s instead of just 1. But in Warrior, it truly can get you to some just invincible points in the game where you're looking at, like, I've seen players with 70 armor before because of Justicar True Heart.
Yeah. Really opens up a lot of tools. Bash lines up quite nicely into it. You can preserve that BGH, which is actually pretty annoying. That's one of those creatures where it's like too small for you to want to put removal on, but you think, wow, that 4 damage really adds up. It's chipping off my armor every turn. Without a weapon in the hand, BGH can be really annoying to deal with.
Yeah, and this is one of those spots where you take a look at it, you even might want to bash this.
You might.
It's just, it's a tough call because, again, it's not, like, 4 damage isn't going to make or break this game, but 4 damage a lot of times can keep your armor in check. And so with Justicar True Heart, ideally, you're just getting out of that range entirely. So, again, it feels kind of weird to be bashing a card that already killed your Dr. Boom, but you can't just let it sit here and keep hitting you for 4 damage over and over again. You've got to do something about it.
Yeah. He already shot his gun. Now he's just trying to whack you over the head with it.
Yeah.
Just take him down.
It's a big blunderbuss.
It is.
You ever fought someone with a blunderbuss?
No, I think blunderbuss is a fictional.
Yeah. You know how I know that you haven't? Because you're still here. Yeah.
Also, because it's fictional.
Well, I did fight when he was level 13 and I was 60.
Yeah, one time I killed a boar with it.
I killed about 3 million of those.
And I skinned it. Made leather boots. That made me run faster.
We're going way back.
Yep, Bash is expended, and they actually decide to hold on to the Despite. So, realizing that, well, there's not really any reason to develop this weapon if we don't really need it to contest anything that's on the board right now. So they're going to hold on to it. It's a pretty good thing, because throwing out that Despite just to kill a 1-1 slime, to have it get Harrison Jones would be pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah, and UConn, once again, they're in these positions where they want to start making a barrier between them and their opponent's reach. And the tanker right now is sustaining the board position. Their opponent isn't getting any ground, but they're not getting any ground either.
Yeah.
And so they're going to want to find ways to deal with these minions effectively without expending too much. And I look at this board and I wonder, is Alex Straza okay here? It's going to force your opponent to use a removal. It's going to contest what's on the board. You're not worried about the big burst damage because you're the one to land the first Justicar.
Alex is going to do the same amount of damage for the rest of the match, pretty much, because that 10 armor is going to take a lot of time to get through. So, basically 12 damage to the face.
Yeah, they're holding on to 2 brawls too, so they are going to start investing this Despite. And normally Harrison Jones looks like a pretty gosh darn good play against a Despite. When you have 2 1-health minions on the board, things change just a little bit with that card.
Yeah.
I could totally see them actually not using this Harrison Jones this turn.
Yeah, maybe their own Alex Straza this turn. It would be vulnerable to something like an Execute because they already have a Whirlwind effect in order to damage it equipped. I mean, maybe just do go for the Harrison. Just get that out of the way quickly.
Maybe
Oh, well, Magni does not agree with me.
We caught it at the same time, too.
Magni's like, TJ, you're an idiot.
I love the Magni emotes, by the way.
Yeah.
Like I like the Illyria Windrunner one on the Hunter as well, but I think I just like Rexar too much.
Yeah. I agree with you there.
I just want more Rexar portraits. Like I would
Yeah.
gladly pay for just another Rexar portrait.
He just like turned slightly, giving you like a little pose.
He's like winking and pointing at you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Baron Geddon's a pretty good setup here, though. They've already seen Big Game Hunter as well. So the 7/5 body, you know, it would be taken out by a Death Spite, but you're dealing 7 damage that way. You're taking care of these little tiny guys that are on the board. You don't really get a ton of value from Baron Geddon in this matchup, and you're also not foregoing an armor up this turn, or a tank up, rather.
Yeah. And one thing we didn't talk about is the double Brawl in Yukon's deck here. Brawl is fantastic against Patron Warrior. Having double Brawl is a great tech for that. It's great against decks like Mech Mage or Zoo Warlock because you're basically increasing the consistency at which you draw it. Because sometimes you need it quicker. If your Brawl is not in your first 15 cards, sometimes it comes too late, and then, I mean, why have Brawl in the deck at all? So sort of just increases the consistency of the draw. But in this deck, in this match, the mirror match, a lot of times it can be dead in your hand.
Very careful balance of resources here. Yeah, looks like they do want to go for Baron Geddon. Well, they're gonna elect not to.
Armor up pass.
Yep, so they're gonna keep passing. This might be the spot where George Mason University goes, you know what? That we can't let him just keep passing either, because we're not getting any ground.
They gotta get their own Justicar. Maybe that's like sort of giving them the indication that they need to go for the Harrison.
Yeah, they're gonna keep armoring up though. They say, you know what? We're keeping this tank up in check. We don't have to invest too much into it. Why not just keep waiting? I mean, I guess they are making ground. They're getting 2 extra armor a turn.
Stalemate.
I think they're winning the stalemate right now.
Yeah, they are.
They're positioning to take that pawn. That's what this whole game's been about so far. No one's actually taken a pawn yet. You know, UConn got the first big opening on the board with that Justicar Trueheart, but everything's still intact at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, they're getting a +2 net health gain every single turn, pretty much, because they're arming up and they're also taking out that 4 damage from that tank up. So George Mason University is sitting there thinking, you know, we're happy to just continue doing this.
Yeah, I mean, UConn, I think they kind of realize at this point that George Mason University is okay with what's happening.
Yeah.
And I can tell you when both of you are just kind of doing nothing and passing, one of you is incredibly wrong.
Yeah. If both players are doing the exact same thing, one person is doing it wrong.
It's very hard to tell who's the wrong one until it's way too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going for the Baron Geddon now. Here's the thing. The Baron Geddon, you can figure out whether or not this was good or bad pretty darn quickly. The other way, though, you are lost. And being lost, even if you're going the right direction, you don't necessarily know that you are. So I'm happy to see them play the Baron Geddon and just try to force George Mason University to do anything to take care of this position.
And now that University of Connecticut has voluntarily taken out those 1-health creatures, George Mason feels like they're in a safe enough position where they can just plop down that Harrison Jones and expend one of those ever so valuable executes.
Yeah, you can see they're even contemplating slamming here to draw the card, but I think something else that came into account is, at this point, I don't feel like either player really wants to draw cards. I think it's been pretty solidified that they're very likely to go into a fatigue situation, and because of that, they're going to try to forego drawing extra cards. This is really the big treat here for the match, is watching players figure that out, you know, with 15 cards still left in their deck.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get a card count here in a second to see who's ahead of that race, but I think they're very close. Oh, that mouse is going somewhere.
Well, we saw there's 12 cards left in UConn's deck.
I believe they drew 1 more card.
Wow, they're actually going to execute a Harrison Jones to protect the Sludge
That's
Belcher
bold.
as well.
That could be that one little value play that makes all the difference at the end of the day.
See, that's the kind of thing. Now, at this point, I feel like George Mason University might have taken that pawn. Because the Sludge Belcher's not protected either way. The Death Spite's coming.
Yeah. But how do you set up a win, especially when you're
sort of Baron Geddon?
Yeah, they do.
Here's the thing. Baron Geddon is so good to follow up on Big Game Hunter with. So say, like, honestly, a play that I really like, Death Spite right here, play the Alexstrasza. If your opponent big game hunters it, then you have Baron get for it. But they're also getting some immediate value out of this, and then it gives them a chance to use that slam and not draw the card off of it.
Yeah, and then save the Alexstrasza
for a bigger turn.
For a bigger turn where BGH is not an issue.
Well, there's another Sludge Belcher back behind it, so still some maneuvering to be done for both these guys. No one quite out of the water yet. I do have to say, I like UConn's board position right now, but I don't like the way their hand is built.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just all situational cards. And Alexstrasza, you have to think that there's a removal waiting on the other side of that board for the Alexstrasza.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they've been holding on to 4 cards what feels like the entire game.
The double brawl's not going to really get you too much of the situation. They're going to smack this thing twice. Wow, really getting rid of those slams because they do not want to draw with these.
Yeah.
They realize this game's going to fatigue. No player has an obvious advantage. Let's throw away these cards, try and get value out of them because they're going to be dead once this game starts to draw to a close.
That's another dead draw for UConn. They're just kind of a sitting duck at this point. I mean, they may want to play the Alexstrasza, but, you know, again, they've only seen execute. They've seen...
How well? Yeah.
They've seen one big game hunter. Your opponent's been doing the same thing. They've been holding on the cards the entire game too. It's tough to figure out exactly what their range is in this spot. And so ideally you want to be playing these gigantic minions after your opponent's used all your removal, but neither player seems to be giving on the smaller minions, except for UConn. They had to use that one execute on the, or they chose to use that execute on the Harrison Jones to protect their life total. So could that have paid off? I mean, it has bought them a lot of health at this point. But that is exactly the kind of card that George Mason University is looking for at this point. This is going to present a major threat to UConn.
They do have both those brawls, though. There's one thing that Dr. Boom is weak to, is a brawl. But it could
it's
end
a
up being...
1-for-1, and you leave a guy on board, though.
It could be disastrous if Dr. Boom does end up coming out of that.
I look at that as a pawn.
It's a big pawn.
Well, I'm saying when your opponent has used the brawl.
It's 2 pawns and a bishop, buddy.
Just moving diagonal. Dr. Boom's only attacking diagonals.
Yeah.
And so do Boombots. Also, they only also attack diagonals.
Oh, so it's 3 bishops.
Well, the pawns, you know, they attack.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah? Anyone? Yeah. Tough crowd.
Da-dum-dum. It wasn't a joke, but just facts.
Just facts of life.
Facts of life.
I feel like chess is one of those games that just has literally always existed.
I wonder.
Like, if you study history, there's like some Paleolithic chessboard somewhere.
The dinosaurs. Making chessboards out of trees and leaves.
You smaller animal. be my minion in this game. We're going to find out if Armor Smith always wins brawls or not. Not today. And piddly little 1 damage upstairs.
Yeah.
Just thumps him.
Snake eye.
That's a thump on the ear, though. Like, that's the thing. If you thump someone like in the arm, like that didn't do anything to you. But if I thumped you in the ear really hard, that's at least a point of damage.
All right,
So
Alexstrasza.
yeah, here we go. This is going to be shield slamming Alexstrasza right back, I expect.
And then it'll be shield slam. One thing here is that George Mason has not drawn into Justicar Trueheart, and that's if they even have it in their deck. I don't think we've seen it yet.
We haven't seen it yet, but I'd be extremely surprised if they built a Control Warrior. They're actually going to go with Death Spite here instead. And they're going to conk him right in the coconut.
Yep. Right to the dome. Taking it up the chain of command.
Yep. Wow, they're actually going to choose a shield block too. Which whoa.
Oh, that could be the difference maker.
You talk about trump cards, TJ.
There's a lot of removal that has been expended on the side of the University of Connecticut. Will they have a way to deal with Ysera when it's inevitably slammed onto the board?
You can take a look at these guys are so laser focused.
They look fatigued.
Well,
get those guys some fruit.
Magni isn't quite fatigued yet. He doesn't quite need to relieve himself of scurvy with oranges or anything like that.
We need to go to halftime in this game and get these guys some orange slices.
A referee just steps in his stripe, just blows a whistle real quick. He's like, all right, guys, that's it. Like, what do you mean? Just hang out. Like, my rope's burning. I got to move. Yeah, you got to move out of here, buddy. You can't just hang around halftime.
Go eat your orange slices and small bags of chips.
Wow, Ysera, though, does not fight very good versus Sylvanas.
Oh, man.
This game is crazy.
This is. And it feels like the top half of these guys' decks are in the bottom 10 cards. Like, they hold on to so much throughout the beginning of the game. They're just like using removal on Shield Maidens, and then boom, all the removal's gone. Ysera, Sylvanas, Grom.
It's time for the haymakers.
Yeah.
Move out of the way, guys.
Foe Reaper.
We got. I don't think that one's showing up.
Yeah.
Having shown up recently does not mean showing up. That's just my opinion on the matter. Alexstrasza, however, is going to show up, and that's 15 points of damage. Honestly, I think George Mason University's going for it. I think they're shield slamming, and I think they're Ysera. Wow, they're not going to. This is unbelievable, the amount of patience that they have.
Ysera is that card that you just, when the game's like done and both players are starting to enter fatigue, you know that all the removal's gone, you just say, here's my Ysera.
That is bold. Maybe they're waiting for Sylvanas to be played. I mean, that's a possibility.
Yeah. We're starting to get towards the end of these decks, and we'll see how many threats George Mason has left. This Shield Maiden could pose a problem. The health battle is handily being won by the University of Connecticut because they're gaining an extra 2 health per turn.
Yep.
Getting their Justicar Trueheart out on like turn 8.
Yeah, you're seeing the difference that the Justicar really makes in this matchup, which is this armor total. And this is what wins that fatigue battle, is when all the resources get used. That's what made the difference. And so now, George Mason University is going to have to figure out, we cannot keep taking 5 damage from this Shield Maiden. That is not a realistic thing to happen right now. They're going to be forced to use Deathspite to take care of it, and then the Shield Maiden afterwards.
This one's going to come down to the wire. At the moment, though, with that big health advantage, University of Connecticut, it looks like it, but they really have to be patient with the Sylvanas because Ysera could be that card that George Mason needs to just sort of solidify their position.
It's the last execute. It's the last big, gigantic piece of removal, and I can tell you they cannot execute their own Sylvanas like Artosis once tried to do.
A classic moment in the history of Hearthstone. All right. Shield Maiden looks like it is going to be the play.
I can take the hit.
Well, hopefully she is going to take the hit here. I can tell you George Mason University wants removal to start being expended on these Shield Maidens. And there's a Harrison Jones now for UConn, but you could see players on their team already shaking their head thinking maybe we don't even play that.
Use it as a 5/4 body later on in the game once all the weapons have been expended. Could be the right play in this situation. One card could be the difference in that fatigue battle that's going to be coming very quickly.
Well,
yeah.
relative.
3 miles per hour. Relatively to a train going 3 miles per hour. I'm still buckled in. Seatbelt sign is still on.
Just hop in the rickshaw.
Yeah.
We'll get there eventually.
Seatbelt sign's still on. I've had to pee since the moment we left.
There's not a rest stop in sight. Have you ever driven across the states, by the way?
Yeah. Actually, 6 times.
So going from Louisiana into Texas, you hit that sign that says like it's like Beaumont 63 miles, you know, this thing 100 miles. El Paso 893 miles. And I'm like, why is that there? This feels completely unnecessary to me.
People that look at the U.S. and say, wow, it's so big. Well, 60% of it is desert in Texas. That's what it is.
Oh, TJ, there's Ysera and Botax! Oh, no! I'm having a great time in this
wow,
match.
there's 3 pixels on that phone. I love pixels.
Just falling. I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
This match is excellent right now.
I believe that was an 8-bit resident sleeper. University of Connecticut. Aren't they the ones with the digital media design major? Come on, man.
This is where you get the 8-bit Hearthstone music, too.
Yeah. It's too bad we didn't have that prepared. Bingo. We did have it prepared in Admirable's head. All right, well, the hands are looking very similar right now. The main difference being that Sylvanas. I think that's going to be the difference maker. Unless George Mason has their own tucked away in the bottom 5 cards of their deck,
here's the thing. You're looking at that Grom right now, and you're thinking, man, execute on that's great. That's the last execute, and it only has 4 health. It honestly might be better to use the Grom to kill this than it is to use the execute. They're going to use the execute either way, though. I cannot blame them whatsoever. And I guarantee you George Mason University has been counting these cards at this point. They are going to play Ysera right now, unless UConn plays the Sylvanas. They have to play the Ysera.
Oh, man, look at that. Both Acolytes of Pain in the bottom 5 cards.
They got to play the Ysera, don't they?
I mean, they can play the Shield Maiden and try and get one more out, but it looks like it's going to hit the board.
And here's the thing about it. UConn actually doesn't have a way to kill their own Sylvanas right now. They have a way to kill the Ysera, but
it's going to be 2 Dream cards.
No, they can use the Grom and the cool Taskmaster to kill it. Here's the problem. They might need that damage.
And I don't even know if they see it. They just play the Sylvanas without even thinking about it.
Oh, no.
Bold move.
Here's the thing. George Mason University can take a big risk right now. They have 2 different options. Number 1 is try to ignore this Sylvanas and
load
push
the
damage.
board with Acolytes.
Yes, and that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm thinking you play the Acolytes, you try to get the Sylvanas to steal one of those, you push damage onto an Acolyte.
Justicar Trueheart is the second to last card in the deck.
I mean, it might be too late at this point.
Well, it's never too late for 4 armor every turn for the remaining, I don't know, 12 turns. Who knows?
I think I like the Acolyte plan.
Each player has each team has 2 cards left in their deck, and there's still probably more turns left in this game than there is in the average Hearthstone game. Yeah, just load it up. You can even throw in a Laughing Sister, just to hedge your bets.
No, I don't think I do like it because it's only going to steal 1 Acolyte if it steals an Acolyte, and then you have one yourself. So your opponent now has an opportunity to start pushing damage on the Acolytes. So if you're going to go for it, I think you go for 1 Acolyte and 50-50 it.
That's bold.
TJ, I think they're doing it!
They're stone cold faced right now.
They're going, is this really what we got to do? The wave's going, look, guys, you realize if we do this, it doesn't work. It's not my fault, right? Sylvanas is whose fault this is. And they're going, we trust you, man.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, well, let's let it rip, boys.
Someone's like, make the call. Okay, attack it first.
Gosh.
This is a big deal right here. What's it going to take? Oh.
But there's still a Brawl left now, too. So they can actually push damage on the Acolyte and then Brawl.
Yeah, but, I mean, 2 Dream cards out of this thing.
That's the first player out of cards now.
Last card is Bash.
This is so unbelievably intense right now. I have no idea how this pans out.
Yeah, I mean, looking at these hands, it feels like, depending on George Mason's last card, that they've sort of flipped this match with that risky play there, keeping their Ysera alive and being able to deal with a threat. I'd say that's a pretty good deal. And
well, UConn may have spotted now that they can use this Grom to actually kill the Ysera. This is 12 power, but at the same time, they're losing the Grom if they do that. They know it's going to die from George Mason's side. They've been keeping track of what's in their deck, though. I mean, maybe they feel okay doing this.
But then maybe their Ysera lives. If removal is expended on the Grom.
Yeah, they're going for it. And I can tell you what, their opponents still have an Acolyte left.
I mean, how do they get to that Grom? They expend the Execute. Then how do they deal with the Ysera?
I'm out of cards.
It's a Brawl.
Laughing Sister Brawl. I think you rip it. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, you know that your Execute has to go onto their Ysera. You're thinking...
Wait a minute. You have to have a way to damage the Ysera, too. So they have an Execute, but they actually don't have a way to deal damage right now.
Oh, man.
This is insane. The
Okay.
second brawl of the match.
Oh, no. And University of Connecticut, they're like, oh, no. The Laughing Sister won.
No way. That is major right now. They can't target it with the bash, so they can't take it out.
Wave's not even on the camera.
Now they have a way to activate Execute on the Ysera, and they have 2 threats left.
You know what? That might have been the difference. And Bash cannot even be used because it's a Laughing Sister.
Oh, and Ysera's just rubbing it into their face right now. She's memeing and the world's trembling. Dream in their hand is the last card they wanted to draw. Oh my gosh, TJ, I think we just saw the winner of this match.
Ysera said, don't let your memes be dreams.
Yeah, don't let your dreams be dreams either.
Yeah.
Look, are they gonna if they dream the Laughing Sister back to their hand, there's actually no way that Yukon can brawl the board either because there's only one threat out.
Yeah.
So that's
Oh, you can't dream the Laughing Sister because it's a Laughing Sister.
Oh, you're absolutely right. You can dream your Shield Maiden, though.
You can. That is true. Get more armor. Are they thinking that they want to do that? I mean, what else are you going to use the dream on?
Magni disagrees.
Yeah. I'm getting really sick of you, Magni.
It's actually so critical that they didn't dream right now.
Look at the health totals. And, I mean, I don't see a way out of this one for University of Connecticut. There's nothing. They can brawl. Hope the Laughing Sister comes out and kill it.
They brawl. Laughing Sister wins. Kill it with Fireworks. They tank up. George Mason University plays Justicar Trueheart.
It gets bashed.
They armor up twice. It gets bashed. What are the fatigue counts right now?
I don't know. I don't know, Bill. I don't know, Kev.
Okay, we're going to pay attention. We're going to pay attention to the next two turns. It starts, though, with Brawl winning. Like, Laughing Sister needs to win the Brawl.
University of Connecticut have to realize this. It's really tough for you. They don't know what that last card is.
That's the other thing, too. Is if Justicar Trueheart hasn't been seen at this point, they may not know that the last card is Justicar Trueheart.
They may just think that it was cut from the deck.
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. You have to Brawl. You don't have an option.
They might think they have a turn to wait. Oh.
This is the losing play, because now you have no way to kill the last threat.
Maybe they think there is no threat.
I think that's it. That's exactly what if they're thinking that they're taking 3 extra damage a turn. I think George Mason University just won this game.
I think they did. And they're going to get the double dip, the 6 armor game. And University of Connecticut, you can see that they are just distraught.
They're
They're crushed.
Yeah, and they're the ones who are higher in fatigue count also. And these totals are actually in favor of George Mason University right now.
This brawl means absolutely nothing. Whatever wins, it does not matter. The University of Connecticut just has
There's
no way.
that pawn that has become the queen at the end of this game.
Justicar Trueheart saying, please don't call me a queen. It's a Justicar.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying it's become.
Oh no, let's just rub it in, why don't we?
Oh gosh, but yeah, I mean, this is the importance of balancing every single resource, and this may have started with using that execute on Harrison Jones. And look at that, doesn't even replace its own tank up. I did not know that.
Yikes.
It does not upgrade your tank up to a second tank up. I've never seen that even have to happen before.
What would even the third iteration be?
Well, it's just replace it with tank up, right?
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
The third iteration.
I think you dreamed the Justicar here and played the Justicar again, and just make sure that it doesn't work the way you thought it did.
Yeah, I don't know. George Mason, they got to feel a little bit bad after that one. That's a brutal way to go out in a best-of-5 series. Being down 2-0. Coming back, bringing it to a game number 5, and then losing to fatigue in a control warrior mirror.
Look at the number go, too. How big can it get? I want to know the largest fatigue damage someone has taken and sustained.
You know, I don't.
I definitely do. That's what I want to see on Twitter. I want to see the largest amount of fatigue damage you've taken and lived through. Wow, what a game. Who put these fatigue cards in their deck, by the way? I don't know why you would want to draw those at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Gosh, why did they put in this card that deals me 8 damage when I draw it?
Yeah. Oh, look at that. The Gunners.
Yeah, buddy. Put those shades on. You guys deserve it.
Gunner, of course, an official sponsor of the TeSPA Collegiate Hearthstone Championship. That's why they're rocking them. And you can tell the guys from George Mason University are pumped with that victory.
And how could you not be? Look at the fashion you wanted in.
Yeah.
Oh, now they're going to dream it.
Gonna dream it back, end the game with an empty board.
And that's the dream.
That is quite literally the dream.
Welcome to the grand.
They're just going to play it. We've been to the Grand Tournament 3 times.
Yeah.
Justicar. You missed the release quite a few months ago.
Apparently Dream makes Justicar Trueheart's short-term memory
Non-existent.
go to the gutters.
Yeah.